So we have here today Tessa. She's an older mare, over 20, not quite sure actual age. She does have a recent history of having EPM earlier this year that did affect some of her gaits. She has been a brood mare in the past, had several babies. Not sure on her breed either. She's a mix of something. She has been displaying some girthiness issues. That could be due to improper girthing techniques because she is used as a lesson horse primarily now. A lot of different people learning may not be girthing her correctly. Some things that I do notice just in looking at her conformationally, her back feet do definitely toe in slightly. She has a little bit of a dip in front of her withers, so she is slightly U-necked, which along with her girthiness could indicate that there's some problems with the thoracic serratus muscles. So when I do get to work on her, that's an area that I'll definitely look into. Other than that, she doesn't have any other history of injuries or illness that is known, but certainly she could in her past simply because there was an extended period of time where we don't really know what was going on with her as much as we might another horse. So I'm going to go ahead and get her walking and trotting in both directions to see how she's moving now. Walk on. Good girl, Tessa, good girl. Walk on. Good girl. Watching her footfalls at the walk, her rear feet do stretch up into the front feet footfalls, so she does appear to be moving well in the rear. I'm going to go ahead and get her to pick up a trot. Trot! Come on, Tessa. Trot! Trot! Going into the trot, I do see some shortening of the stride. It's not quite as nice as it was at the walk. And she also seems to have a little bit of an issue with that right outer front. Seems to be causing her a little bit of a hiccup in her movement. And since it's a bit dusty in here, I'm not going to make her continue to trot. I'm going to get her to go in the other direction at a walk. Good girl, good girl. Tessa, come on. Come here. Time to leave yet. Although the stride is still shortened at the trot, but additionally she's not bending very well in this direction. She's bending a little bit better in the other direction. So for her, I'm going to kind of focus in on my massage in those thoracic serratus muscles. I also want to take a look at her adductors to kind of see how her movement is going, to get some kind of indication if it's girthiness, improper girthing technique is causing the girthiness, or if maybe there's an area in here that's giving her some kind of problems. And then feel will be very important to see if there's any other areas that might be causing her an issue. To do Tessa's massage here at this pole, she can't get around the pole, so there's not that safety concern. She's a horse that doesn't have her own stall. She's an outdoor horse 24/7, so there's not a stall, even though I know that would be the ideal place to do the massage in. I'm not sure if I could get the video either. The aisleway where the cross ties are is very wide and they are very high, so I don't want her to have the chance of turning back and hurting herself, me, or others. So that's why I've elected to have her here. The footing is not completely as flat as you'd like to see it, but it is flatter than some of the stalls themselves are if she was in a stall. So like I said, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of palpitate her and get an overall feel for how her muscles are before I focus in on some of those areas like the adductors and the thoracic serratus muscles that I believe are potentially areas that might be causing her some problems, and maybe we can give her some relief for her issues. I don't feel any kind of trigger or stress points here in the long back muscles. There is some definite tightness in these long back muscles, but I'm not feeling any kind of areas that are trigger or stress points there. So I definitely think that the long back muscles are an area that I'm going to work on as I continue through the massage. Checking the loins. Definitely some tightness, but not overly tight. Her adductor muscles are pretty tight, so it's an area that I wanted to check out, and it is an area that I want to continue on. I can get my hands between them, but I worried because of the way she toes in on those back feet that they might be getting some extra stress. And they are fairly tight. They don't appear sore. She's not giving me any kind of indication that there's soreness with any pressure that I'm applying, but it's an area that I definitely want to work on some more. Definitely Tessa's telling me she is sore here in the area of the shoulder and then on into the thoracic serratus muscles. So this is definitely, I would say, at least part of the issue with her girthiness. She definitely is giving me every indication that she might even try to bite if I continue to put too much pressure in that region. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on these long back muscles and try to get them loosened up, since I definitely saw that they were tight. I'm going to try to start things out with some pretty deep effleurage. She's allowing me to put pressure there without getting too angry about it, upset. Her ears are back, but she's not attempting to bite. She's not flinching. The back is not lowering. All signs that would be indicative of being pretty painful. So I want to really try to open up these upper back muscles to give her some relief that way. Tessa is a bit denser of a horse than Gabriel, who I worked on last time. So up here when I do my friction, I am going to use a curry comb, just a standard rubber curry comb as a tool to be able to get in there a little deeper, unless Tessa tells me that it's too much pressure. I'm doing this friction here, working on these muscles. And then I can use some effleurage technique with the curry comb to spread those muscles at a deeper level than just with my hand. I am noticing that here, midway of the long back muscles, that there is some twitching going on as I continue my massage. So I'm taking note of that right now. It doesn't seem to be any pain coming from there. But definitely there is a twitch going on. In that general area, I'm going to use the curry comb and do a little bit of a circular motion massage. Kind of want to feel with my hand now. I'm just kind of probing with my hand to see how things might be compared to when I have the curry comb. I can't really feel as well. I definitely feel after that work a relaxation in these long back muscles. They're not as tight and taut as they were. It's much easier for my hand to move across the muscle fibers. So now I want to move to the other side of the horse for the long back muscles. So again, on this side, the long back muscles do show a good amount of tightness. They're definitely tighter than their counterparts on the other side are now. So I'm going to kind of go through the same routine to get them to relax. There aren't any stress or trigger points along the muscle. Just a tightness. There doesn't appear to be soreness. So starting out with this deeper effleurage. And then moving on into some cross-fiber friction with the curry comb. I definitely am also seeing again that little bit of a twitch in the midsection of the long back muscles. It's a little more pronounced and a little bit more across the entire long back muscles than it was on the other side. In general, these muscles are really feeling a lot less tight, a lot more loose now after the work. And I just heard her sigh, which I generally take to be a sign of a horse that's kind of relaxing and feeling generally good and better about things than they were previously. She's not looking back here at me, her ears are not back. She's got a softer eye, and she even looks like she might fall asleep. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of that circular motion too in the middle range of this muscle to get it to further loosen and relax. I feel like the long back muscles are relaxed pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and move into those adductors that were really, really tight. It's not an area that will be easy to be seen on the video, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to be very mindful of her legs, but I'm going to do some kneading action. So like this, on the inside where the adductors are. This could also cause this tightness, this extreme tightness back here, could definitely cause some stride shortening, like I saw at the trot. And I definitely can tell that her ears are back now, again, to some degree. She's not quite as relaxed as she was a moment ago when I was working on that back. This is definitely an area that is tight, but maybe also slightly sore for her. And I am just working on kneading that muscle, sometimes throwing in a little bit of circular motion because I think that sometimes can really kind of help these super tight adductor muscles relax even deeper and further and separate the fibers out. I hear her licking and chewing right now, which is always a good sign for the horse showing some level of relaxation that wasn't there previously. She also just moved into a much more square standing position. She's resting the left hind, but her front legs are now much more square. And even though she's resting that left hind, they are very close up together now, which when I started, she was pretty strung out in her standing. And again, it won't be something that's easily seen, but I'm going to work on kneading now on the left side, since that right side has shown improvement in relaxation. And again, I'm noticing that, there definitely was a change when I went from the right side, which was now relaxed, to the left side, which is still tight and a little bit sore. She immediately had put her ears back again, indicating a level of displeasure over what I was doing. I would say, if anything, the right adductor was definitely much more tight than this left adductor is. I just would like to get it nice and relaxed too, so that maybe we can see some improvement in that stride length at the trot. As I work into this muscle, getting a little bit deeper because it is relaxing, I can see that again she has her ears back. I just want to work all along from the insertion point down to the end. Make sure that that muscle's relaxed all along it, including the belly. Okay, now that those adductors are both kind of nice and loose, I'm going to move back over here to the right side and take a look at her thoracic serratus muscles and the muscles around the withers to the shoulders. I can already see that as I approach it and get a little closer, she's definitely tensing. She's definitely showing some level of displeasure at me being close to this area where there has been the indication that she has had some girdiness issues where she tries to kind of bite people, pins her ears back, threatens. So I'm going to be very cautious. I'm going to keep an eye on her, but I definitely want to work this area because I think it's an area that is causing her problems and could help her relax and maybe not have quite such an issue. So my first task is just to kind of do some light effleurage, very light pressure, and paying close attention to her and how she's feeling, because she already has her ear back. She definitely is looking at me. She's very well aware of what I'm doing right now. Definitely tightness here. You can definitely tell that there's stress and pressure. I'm trying to work it out with a little bit deeper pressure along in here with some circular motion. She's not getting too upset yet at it. You can see some signs of displeasure, but also some signs of softening, the eyes going a little more soft and closing, and some level of relaxation. Because she is so sensitive, I'm not going to use any tools this session in that area. It's not an area that I would generally use a lot of on a horse anyway, because it is kind of not necessarily a very dense area, but definitely with one that's showing signs of girdiness and displeasure, I think it would be too much pressure to have a tool used. I'm going to try to work in a little bit with just my fingertips and a light pressure, some cross fiber fiction. And there's some licking and chewing, so there's definitely some relaxation that's going on. So I am going to put a little bit more pressure now with my cross fiber fiction, see if I can get in there even deeper and affect a bigger change on her overall well-being. Doing a little kneading here along with a slight rocking motion. I really want to work this shoulder area on both sides and the withers. Try to give her the best amount of relief total. She doesn't seem to be too bothered in the withers area. I'm putting a good amount of pressure right now in this friction, and she's not reacting negatively in any way. Try to get in here on these bigger muscles with some press and glide to separate those. And I am putting quite a bit of pressure with my body right now. I see some sign that it's not pleasurable for her because she's putting her ear back and looking at me, but she's certainly not reacting like it's super painful. It's definitely tight in the shoulders. That got some good release right there. She definitely took in and let out a big breath. And now the eye is softening, and again I see her closing her eyes. And there's some licking and chewing. I'm going to do some circular motion with pressure. Just trying to get every way I can this shoulder to relax. This is still a particularly tight spot, so I'm going to work a little more on it since I've gotten pretty good relaxation elsewhere. I just don't want to neglect one area from getting a complete relaxation. I'm doing some, with my fingertip and thumb, circular pressure, and it's significantly deeper than when I first worked here because there has been a greater level of relaxation now overall. And she's definitely showing me that she is not as bugged by this area as she was previously. And I know with the thoracic serratus muscles, you can't reach the first 5 attachment points because of the shoulder, but the others are accessible, so I'm trying to get those to relax, which will hopefully benefit the other 5 that can't be reached. And she's definitely showing a little bit of upset with what I'm doing. You can see her ear go back. My pressure right now is not much, and it's just a nice steady effleurage. Okay, so there's an overall softening and less reaction from her on this side at this point. So I'm going to move to the other side. To here, you can see that she is definitely got soreness here. Probably more soreness on this side, on the left side, than she did on the right side. Her reaction is definitely much more immediate, telling me she'd really rather me not be there. But I am going to work on her with some light pressure, starting at the withers, since the withers seems to be a little bit less reactive of an area, and try to get some release of those muscles in a place that she's not as reactive as, so that as I move down into the others, she will hopefully be more okay with it. I like the breath and the licking and the chewing. Then I'm just moving down in here with some very, very light cross-fiber friction, working on loosening up these tight muscles. And they are very tight. I would say definitely much tighter than on the other side. Again, there's not any stress or trigger points, just super tight and sore muscles. Judging on her reaction, I would definitely say that these muscles and their feeling is a big portion of why she's having issues with girthing. Already, though, I'm able to increase my pressure and definitely see in her a less reactive behavior to what I'm doing, and actually some level of enjoyment for what I'm doing. As I move down this muscle, she is putting her ear back again. So there definitely is another point here lower in this muscle that's causing her some problems. Let's see what I get with some press and glide, light pressure. Now that she's more okay with it, I'm going to work on some deeper pressure with circular motion along the muscle to really get in there and affect a deeper relaxation of the muscle. She's looking at me again, but again, this time the ears are not back. There's no threat of a bite. A little bit there. There's a little bit of a sore point right there. So just decrease the pressure to some degree, but keep working on that area. Work on it with some compression release. She's showing me that she is relaxing more in that area with the compress and release. So I'm going to go back to some of that circular motion with a little bit deeper pressure now. Definitely seeing a lot of relaxation in Tessa now at this point. And again, she's standing now with one leg up, the left rear again, but a very square standing for her. Very unlike what she was at the beginning, showing me that what I've been working on has definitely helped address some of the problems that she's been having. And again, right here is where she's got her tightest muscle. Okay, so Tessa, again, was a horse that had been displaying girthy behavior, biting and getting agitated when she was being girthed up. Also saw some indication of some shortened strides at the trot, and but she definitely has a couple conformational issues. She's ewe-necked, and she does toe in on those back legs. Recent history of EPM, which has caused some lameness issues. So I worked primarily on the adductors, which were very tight, and getting those to relax, and the thoracic serratus muscles on the basis of what I saw and what I knew of her. And as I was working on her, I also palpated those long back muscles, and they are definitely an area that was also very tight, and there was some soreness in there. So I went ahead and I worked on them. I would say moving forward for a horse like Tessa, maybe there needs to be a little bit of a review with anybody who's riding her about proper girthing techniques, so they don't maybe exacerbate some of the girthiness and the soreness that she has in these shoulders, and also regular kind of massage work to ease some of that pain and hopefully be able to help her open up her stride a little bit more. She's never going to be a horse, I don't think, conformationally wise, that's going to be able to have really great movement, and she's not used really for jumping except for low levels and only occasionally. So primarily she's used at a walk, trot, and some canter. But I definitely think that massage would benefit her overall health, well-being, and ability to continue to give lessons, really focusing in on those shoulders and the rear adductors and the long back muscles.